that's fine.
Just have a little.
Had a good day yesterday at work. Went for a run.
How far did you run?
Just under 5K, but we've got this new kind of running group in our organisation, and we're doing it Wednesdays and Fridays, and we're called the Wildcats.
Oh!
Let's run fast.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just nice to run with other people, and there's people from different divisions, so you get to know about them. You're like, doing, you know, what do you enjoy about what you know, what you do? It's just really nice. And like we go around Mrs. Macquarie's chair.
The
and,
Olympia.
like, sometimes through the Botanic Gardens.
That's
So it's just really...
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
so
international
nice.
bodybuilding's fine.
Yeah, so I haven't been running.
Where's your office? Oh, yeah. I call it near Russell Crowe's house.
Yes, I think it's near that.
Okay, so speak
So we're quite near there.
Yeah, okay, got it.
That's been something that's actually been really helpful me is that there's lunchtime running or there's exercise at lunchtime.
Yes, yeah, good.
And it's, you do it as a group from work.
Yeah, not a huge group. I think we're trying to recruit more people.
That's so
Even
good.
if it's 2 people, like yesterday we had 3 people, but that was nice just to go with 3 people.
Yeah.
And the week before we had 4, you know. I don't know, just feel like.
Good on you.
I like exercising with other people. It always helps. I think I don't like to let people down, so if they're like, oh, do you come? Like, yeah, I'll come.
Yeah.
I like the word state.
And have you been naturally fit all of your life, or have you been a sports person? Or
I've been very sporty.
Yeah, so did they tell you which one's your camera?
Did my ACL.
Yeah.
And had surgery for that one.
So good luck
Yeah,
with your
so-
upcoming blood
And then
drive
I
and
did my
drink
knee 20
Nice.
years later, so I had surgery for that one. So I'm not in that at the
I hope
moment, but I'm
Dago's
really into
bloody.
running.
yeah.
You can look at it.
And do you have a goal for running?
Okay, yeah, all right.
Not at this stage. My goal last year, I did a half. Which
Which
really
one?
fun. The Blackmores one. Just the,
Yeah, around Sydney it goes, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember running it and I was going
Yeah,
over the bridge
if you stop touching them, they're all perfect.
and just to be able to like fix that.
Yeah. And where do you live?
Quakers.
So not too far to get. Oh
Yes,
no,
I can
you
see the
still
slot.
live at Quakers Hill. Oh, okay. So how long does that take you?
To
Yeah.
the office, it's like an hour and a half, an hour and 20, and it's 2 trains. But I've been, I would say the last year, I've been saying.
So you've explained the rotating couches to people?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm a bit closer.
All right. So you'll be able to help me with the train today then.
Yeah, we might.
What's the best station for me to go to from here to get to Penrith?
Is Newtown? I don't know the closest train station. I think it's Newtown or McDonald.
So can we just do one little thing?
We can do 27 little things.
Stuff up here is people rotating in and out. So just before we go, let's do it. First speaker is going to be Rowie. If you could just jump into the first seat.
Rotate in and
Followed
out.
by Kylene.
Ready? You could do the.
For the artist formerly known as Hayley. So.
I don't know any of those poses.
So if you get your talking there, blah 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 blah, and then
How are you?
he's
Welcome.
going to. So this is the thing. Yeah, you can
Now what am I doing? I get out.
Yeah, you're going to go up and out.
Thank you, Rowena. That was inspiring.
See you, bye.
Thanks.
When she's up, you go in. Like that. There you go.
And I go over here.
See how good I did it?
Very smooth.
Could you jump in?
That's why I hire him, because he shows people how to sit down.
And then you jump up. I'm also relaxing you and stuff.
You called him a minion. That was a horrible, horrible thing.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Harry Zacharales, good luck. Off we go. You jump in there just as an experiment.
Welcome. Good to see you.
Harry
Welcome
sack
back.
of rolls, did he say?
Harry Zacharales or Joe Bag of Donuts.
Joe Bag of Donuts.
One of the two.
Okay. Well, let's go. And then, thank you very much. Get off. And
Do I come back now?
No, Hayley's going to stay there.
no. Just that was an experiment.
Oh, no, sorry. No, you're not, sorry.
So what
'Cause Gail needs to
I'm
sit
getting
here.
out, and when Gail gets here, I'm going to say, hello, Gail, how are you? Make her feel welcome.
Yeah,
And she's going to come and sit there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
last thing to do, white balances. Here we go. You're going to hold that. You're going to hold that. Okay, Mr.
Bernadette and Grace from the Sharp Stroke we had
Bernadette and
in San Diego.
Perfect.
When am I saying that?
When I'm going to, you won't miss it. I'll say, Rowie joins us now. Rowie, before I start, I believe you have something you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So you just say it then.
Harry Zacharales. All right. Wait a sec. Setting the T stops. I've done. You just.
Spewing.
Thanks. Try to hold it still, Barnaby.
Calm down. How's the K-Man?
I just pressed the wrong button there.
Buenos Aires,
Pressed the wrong button.
But how is he?
World Cup. Great.
Killing it?
Yeah, 50s.
Is he gonna win it?
53, he's fighting with a 35-year-old. He's
Oh,
going
really?
great, yeah.
So this is the Masters Games one. He's like the blind guy that just
Yeah,
decided
exactly.
to jump back in to take them all on.
And just what you say,
And he lost 10
if you
kilos so he
stay
could compete
in the
compete at a lighter weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the big guys are 120, you don't want to be fighting with him. 35-year-olds that weigh 100 kilos, that's
Yeah.
not fun.
Sorry, Mr. Harwood, I'm sorry to waste your time doing technical things to make you look better on camera.
Have you got like a one of those things, those filters, so you don't look...
I think you would have got a ball to throw it in.
I think you need a fog filter 3.
I need a sharp ball.
Okay.
You got your good undies on though?
Thank you.
Always.
When you go and tell you. And you've got a date tonight, so you better be
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
your good undies. Am I still holding this up? Is that what I'm meant to be doing?
So well.
Now, Hayley and Rowie, I ran this past Kylene, but when I ask you questions, because my vision doesn't go down very well, so I'll be reading questions like this.
Yeah.
So just look at me like I'm actually looking at you.
Yeah.
Just pretend.
Okay.
Is this not a comedy show?
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a
Crack on.
question for the ABC, please. Rake. It's 2018. They told me that rake's on every 2 years. There should be a rake this year. Is there?
They're sitting at the moment. I met the camera woman who's filming it last week.
There you go.
And is he the Prime Minister of Australia now?
We will have to remain to see. I can't reveal it.
I went to JB Hi-Fi yesterday and I said, it's 2018, it's the year of the rake. Where is it? And they said, no rake.
Okay. There we go.
Comedy drama.
Yeah,
It's a classic example of comedy drama.
it is.
The best show on television.
So, are you ready for this? I'm in Houston in a supermarket and I'm talking to the checkout lady. The
Yeah.
lady behind me says, "You're Australian?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Rake, it's my favourite show." In Houston, in Texas.
Very good.
Very, very, very cool. Okay, so can somebody tell the producers of what goes on there that happened? That lady, she found it on Netflix and she loves it.
Oh, really?
Or something, wherever she found it, she just loves it.
God bless her.
God bless her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. You've made my day even more special. They're filming Rake. Am I staying here or am I leaving
You can
now?
do whatever you like.
Have I? I've got all my stuff.
Everybody get their phones off.
Must be time.
It's close. According to the gigantic digital display clock.
2:52 to go. What time is it?
It's oh, the clock's wrong. It's 1:45.
10.
Yeah,
And what time
So-
does your show go on? 10.
10 till 11.
So it's 10:15 now, is
Yeah.
it? I better put it on the right time then. Better not.
Right.
2 NDs, mate.
So you're going to be on for not quite 20 minutes. And then you'll go, Kylene will be on for...
It's a long show. How long's the show for?
hour long.
An hour. Awesome.
So I get a good chunk with all of you.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Look at my watch. These people are a bit stingy. They missed out the numbers over here and they missed out the numbers over here. They left some off.
Oh,
You have to guess.
what? So why'd you buy it?
Because I liked it.
It's broken. It's missing digits.
Even a broken watch is right twice a day.
So, Mr. Harry Zacharias, could you show me
Yes, Joe Baganonis.
you looking at your cards, please?
Yes. Let me find my cards and I will talk with them. Rowie McEvoy, welcome. Thank you for coming. We're live today at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse.
Yes,
We're
we
speaking
are.
to 4 people who are adding incredible value to the world.
Yes, we are.
Stop laughing,
You
Hayley.
included.
You are one of those.
Happy Hayley. Happy Hayley, who knows, she will, by the time she leaves, she'll know why she's here. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Following these people.
Harry Zacharias.
Do you know your ability to be smiley and happy at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sparkle Day? Super Day, Saturday today, isn't it?
It is a super day.
Yeah. So, there,
It's really nice.
how many people are grumpy?
I've forgotten to take my...
I was going to ask you, but I was going to try
this
and
morning, so...
get a way of asking about your take on people with headphones and...
Yes, please.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I'm onto it.
Too much.
I'm so fat. I can't be happy. I'm so fat. Really? Really?
Okay, sorry, Harry, show us again.
Yes, Joe.
Saccharoll.
So I'm going to be speaking to you basically about happiness.
Yes.
I'm not going to grill you on business and physiology and all that stuff.
I'm happy to be baked, not grilled.
Right. Well, I'll gently bake, but I won't grill.
Stir fried, maybe.
Finally figured out.
That's going to be more just
Why
about
is
you as a
it?
human being than a business
How
operator.
do you know I'm a human being?
Harry Saccharoll.
Well, because you're married
I
to
could be an
dude that
alien. I could be a
No,
dog
'cause
that's been reincarnated.
Because I know Kerry's a human being and he's married to you, and I know he wouldn't marry aliens.
He might not be a human being either. He might be a...
Super
Well, you know
freak.
what we call him? We call him a unicorn. Yeah, he's a fictional creature. So when you find one of those, you capture them and study them. I'm also a unicorn, so I might
Is that
not
right?
be.
Where
Yeah.
is it?
Feel
It's
it.
like your watch. You've lost.
Feel it. Feel it.
I'm pretty sure.
Didn't they give me one?
It's like your watch. Whoever made your watch made your whatever it's called.
So when you find a positive, happy person, because there's not that many of them in the world, you should capture them and study them.
Right.
What are they doing?
Right.
Yeah.
So is that why he's a unicorn? Right.
Yeah. So intelligent, funny, wise, common sense, fit, healthy, strong people. Unicorn.
So what's Kylene's boyfriend? He's out the back of his head.
No, he's got really long hair, Kylene. Steve?
Down to the back of his neck.
And when he competes, does he tie it up?
He did this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't...
Last year it wasn't long enough.
I always say that to the girls like you with the beautiful hair when they compete. Don't have it hanging down your lats. You don't want to. You want to have it away so we can see them.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you do with yours when you compete?
Actually, I had it down just because it looks a bit more feminine, but I think I've learnt that lesson and I'll have to tie it up next time.
And do you wear the big plastic shoes? Is that
No,
your
not for
division?
physique,
No.
no.
Do you wear shoes at all?
No,
No shoes?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
Only for bikini girls and figure girls. Wear the
Okay, so I've got a
heels.
cool story about competing. You ready? I have one time.
Yeah,
It's 15 in my division.
yeah.
And they called me on the way to the competition. I had a corporate chat for Hardy's Pipes
Yeah.
in the morning, and then I competed in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they
Sorry,
called me. I was
excuse me,
driving
Rowie,
from the sunny
you
coast to
see where that
Brisbane,
alarm-
and they
Oh,
said,
yeah.
"There's
Fixed it.
14 other girls in your division. They've all pulled out. Do you still want to come?"
Yeah, yeah.
I said, "Yeah, of course I do."
Yeah.
So you ready? I walked on the stage, did my routine, got my trophy, and went home.
Oh,
So I've got this trophy that's this big. I'm the Queensland Natural Bodybuilding Champion 2001 because no one else showed up.
Tell us something, so she'll have to get mic'd up.
14 girls pulled out.
So I use this story when I chat with Barnaby. Sometimes it's just about showing up to win.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And for me, that was. I'm sure I wouldn't have won, but because I showed up, I did.
Yeah, it's getting to that last stage because a lot of people won't turn up. Or
Yeah,
something.
I'm not. What's the word?
good enough.
Do you know what this
I'll
word
dive into
means? You can
the
explain it
lady
to
that
me.
I've been
Fluffy.
speaking to. So she's going to be all fluffy, like she's real.
When
classy
they're
lady, so
not on point, so
Just tell her to calm the hell down.
What does that
It's all
mean?
fine.
they're not lean enough.
Now you
So
got a water
Fluffy's a
bottle.
bit chubby, is it? Or
Oh, well, it depends on the person how they're using it. Yeah, they could say chubby,
you can take it
or
on
you know,
if you
you could be
feel the
looking
need,
at them
'cause
and they're
everything
like
under-
10% body fat, and you're like fluffy.
Oh, I've
You
got
know,
one as well,
I'm a
so
bit
I had
fluffy
two
at
there
the
just in
moment.
case someone
How
else
you
wanted
use it
one.
now? Oh, I'm a little bit fluffy at the moment.
oh, so it's a technical bodybuilding term,
Well,
is it?
well,
So when
not
I'm- when
really,
I'm
but
speaking,
yeah, they all sort of use
camera
it
will be
in
on
that sort
me.
of context.
So if you need it, just
Yeah, because she said, this girl said to me the other
you
day,
get on
I feel a
camera,
bit
you
fluffy
can
today.
water it.
And I had no clue what she was talking about. And the other one, she said she wanted to be, she said, I want a striated V-line.
now look at the camera. So your
know it-
camera
well, you know what's
is
straight.
that one over there that
V-line.
is on now. So I'll say,
But I've been out of this for too long now. I don't know what all these terminology. A striated V-line. That was her goal.
And quiet.
Righto.
Now it's important that once you
Where's my bit of paper?
you exit the production, that you stay quiet until you come over and see me. Everyone's phones off as well, please. Okay, I'm going to press record on the cameras first.
Are you sitting here? I don't want to sit. I don't want to put my back to Kylie, that'd be rude.
You're
That's
the
me.
speaker though, it's okay. It doesn't look like you've got your back to it because there's a two-shot here with all three.
Barnaby, just have a little bit of a chat for me. I just want to test your...
Hello and welcome to Everyday Greatness. Thank you for joining us. Rowie, I think you're one of the most happiest people on the face of the earth. Thank you for joining us.
I've been accused of that.
Did it hurt?
Ouch! I'm so happy.
Kylene, how are you going?
I'm good.
Kylene.
Yeah.
It's a
Such a
I
cool
like that
name. Kylene.
Does that mean something or
No.
just plucked it out
It
of
means
there?
famous person who's very funny. That's what it means. I just made it up.
I think their parents found it in a book.
They're all recording, and I think it's the best attitude that we've ever had.
Aperture. What did you say?
I
Aperture.
love a good aperture.
Aperture. Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Zig Ziglar says that it's your aptitude, not your attitude, not your aptitude,
So we said
determines
this
your
first?
altitude.
Yeah,
Yeah, the card. Okay.
I'll ask you. If I
Can
can
I
help.
move your chair just a tiny bit closer?
Can I look into the camera when I say that?
Yeah, so yours is that one.
That one,
Yeah.
not that one. Is that
No,
yours?
that's the.
You got your own camera.
That's mine.
God, whose is that one?
Chat away for a bit, Barnaby. Full...
So that's mine. That's
Can you still
that's
see
the
those?
3-shot Dion. This one. This is their camera.
That's their camera.
Yeah.
There, Chat away a little bit more for it, Barnaby.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Did you get the check? Did you get the check?
No, with me. You ready?
Yeah.
May your Mondays be
Welcome
magical,
to
may
every-
your Tuesdays be terrific, may your Wednesdays be very well, and your
Can Rowie sing?
Thursdays be thankful.
I might ask
May
her.
your Fridays be a I'd love to.
Low point, real human being.
Do you sing when you do
The
comedy?
light's going to change
Sorry?
all
Do you sing when you
afternoon.
do comedy? Well, that would be
No.
a disrespectful thing for me to say.
No, not at all.
Barnaby,
Yeah.
I just need you to talk
I'm not a
right
fan
now.
of,
Just talk
Right, welcome to Everyday Greatness. Thank you for joining us.
yeah.
We're live today at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse. And we're going to be
Chris
speaking to 4
O'Brien
people
Lifehouse.
who are adding incredible value to the world. First one is Rowie McEvoy, Kylene Anderson, Hayley Hornitzky, and Gail
What's your
O'Brien when
last
she turns
name?
up.
What is it?
Hornitzky.
H. Haley, Horny Haley. That's very cool. Horny Haley will be joining us today.
No offence,
Stuck in
but I don't
his
think
head
I'll
now.
say that. I get arrested for that.
I call you bold, brilliant, beautiful Barnaby.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, you wouldn't get arrested for that.
Why would you get
If I
arrested
said,
for
how old
saying
are you?
horny? If I'm a unicorn, I'm allowed
24,
to
if
say
I said to a
horny.
24-year-old girl, oh, and welcome Horny Haley, there'd be sirens going, right,
Oh, of course.
he's out of
ABC.
here.
So, did you want to just have a sip of your water before we go on? Down there? Have you got a bottle of water?
Okay.
How come you're drinking beer? What's with that?
We've got to deal with people like this. No, I'm drinking a Steve, 65 cents. Shut up.
Guys, we're live.
Oh, can I ask a girly question? I do have makeup all over my
We're
face.
live now.
Oh, we're live.
Here we go, guys. Come on.
Dad, we're
We're already live, so I need to get this running.
Woohoo! Have you had a drink?
Here you go.
We're all good.
so Harry.
Harry. Happy Harry High Notes.
Why don't you set, folks?
It's very quiet.
Like a free world.
Every day, we get things off the ground, keeping you connected and secure. We keep things running smoothly and know the importance of giving back. We're always looking at the bigger picture. We are ARA. Reliable
Welcome to Everyday
Solutions for
Greatness.
Facilities
Thank you
and
for joining us.
Infrastructure.
I'm your host, Barnaby Howarth. This is a show designed to help people realise there is greatness in being an everyday Harry Sack of rolls. We're live today at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse, Cancer Treatment Centre. We're here where my wife was a patient in a very low point of her journey with breast cancer. And I'm going to be speaking to 4 people who are adding incredible value to the world. We all try and add value to the world in our own unique way. Some of us do it by giving back to the world in jaw-droppingly huge ways after suffering heartbreaking adversity. Others do it by infecting the world with their incredible happiness and make the lives of everybody they touch better just for being in them. Others do it by taking on superhuman challenges, completing them successfully, but staying so modest and humble you wouldn't pick them apart from any other schmo on the street. Others are just starting to make their mark on the world and are probably underestimating the value they're adding to the world just by being the human being they are. We're at Lifehouse today thanks to some incredible friendships I made while my wife was a patient here. The way the staff at Lifehouse treated my wife, like any other human being who was a little bit sick, not like a charity case, and smothered in sympathy, meant that my wife's short stay here was a rare bright spot in what was otherwise a very dark cancer journey. However it is that you're trying to add value to the world, you can rest assured that all those tiny things you're doing that you think nobody is taking any notice of, the small decisions you make and the way you treat other people, people are noticing, and it is impacting people's lives, and you may be adding value to the world even though you had no idea about it. Somebody who's adding value to the world by infecting the world with their infectious happiness is Rowie McEvoy. Rowie McEvoy loves porridge. Rowie loves pretty much everything. Rowie is one of the happiest people on the face of the earth. The personalised licence plates on one of Rowie's former cars simply said, "Be happy." If you've ever wondered whether you could run a successful business based on the intangible philosophy of being happy, Rowie and her husband Kerry are irrefutable proof that you can. Those personalised licence plates that Rowie had sat on a white Lamborghini, the only Lamborghini bought by an Australian woman at the time. Rowie and Kerry's first business was listed in BRW's fastest growing Australian companies, and Rowie and Kerry were individually listed in the BRW under 40 rich list. That first company was taken out from under their feet in a hostile takeover. But this is what proves Rowie's happiness is fair income. Rowie and Kerry didn't drop their heads and cry in their porridge. They just got back to business. They started a new company, Max Fitness, which is a fitness professional company, which is run based all on the happiness of the people within it. Rowie and Kerry used to loan out their matching his and her Ferraris to deserving employees. Max Fitness is now a multi-million-dollar company. Rowie is still one of the happiest people on the face of the earth, and she's flown out all the way from New Zealand to join us on Everyday Greatness today.
All the way.
Rowie McEvoy, welcome. Before I start, I believe you have something you want to say.
Bernadette and Grace from the Stroke Rehab Centre, the Sharp Stroke Rehab Centre, in fact, in San Diego. You're amazing, and we'd like to know that you're even more super duper today, and we love you very much, don't we, Barnaby?
We do, you do. Thank you.
I think you said that they're the coolest people that you've ever met, Bernadette and Grace.
Yeah, I did say that,
yeah, you did.
Yes, they are. So, Rowie McEvoy, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, Barnaby.
So, how does a person stay so happy? Do you ever get home and have dinner with your husband and just say, "She's had a terrible day, and you know the weather was horrible"? How do you stay so happy when there's so much around us that would refute that point?
Barnaby, you, like me, get asked to talk about toughness, resilience, being happy. Would that be fair?
Correct.
Yeah. And we want our kids to grow up in a happy world, and we want our world to be happy, and we want the people in our lives to be happy. Would that be fair?
Correct.
Yeah. But when you are happy all the time, people think that it's not real, or that you're not genuine, or that it's just not possible. I get accused daily of being obnoxiously happy, ridiculously happy. You can't be that happy. I get feedback at events where I speak, and people say, "Oh, that lady's not for real. She's sending out an unrealistic message because you can't be happy all the time." Well, what if you could be? I think you can.
So what did Lamborghini say to you, speaking of happiness, when an Australian lady rang up and ordered a white Lamborghini a few years ago.
See, that's another great thing. When I drove that car, people would say to me, of course she's happy, she drives a Lamborghini. The reverse of that, though, is a guy pulled me up and said, you're either a prostitute or a drug dealer because you're driving a Lamborghini. So you could be happy that you drive a Lamborghini, or could be unhappy because people are abusing you for driving it. It's not about the car. For me, it's always been about who do I have to become, how disciplined, focused, committed, how happy do I have to be to deserve to drive such an obvious car that's got Be Happy number plates on it.
And do you still drive your Lamborghini, or have you moved on?
Oh, I've got a 007 Max Aston Martin now. Doesn't make me any happier. I started with a Datsun 120Y and I was just as happy driving my Datsun 120Y. It was blue and I loved it.
So tell me about your Aston Martin. Is it featured anywhere in particular that people recognise it?
Probably in James Bond movies. But again, for me, it's never been about the car. It's always been about how do I make my life the best it can possibly be on a day-to-day basis. So, yeah, that's the Rowie story.
So tell me about...
Obnoxiously happy Rowie.
Speaking of cars, tell me about your his and hers Ferraris that you used to loan to your employees. You've stopped that. Why did you stop it?
Well, one of them we actually gave away to one of our employees, but we never called them an employee. They were always just one of our team players. We actually gave that car to a team player. But what I've learned also about giving and what people want is that unless we've earned it and worked for it ourselves, we don't feel like we deserve it. It's like when people win lotto, they end up losing all the money because they didn't earn it. So if you earn something and you're really proud of it, there's a whole different story than if somebody gave it to you. So I don't give people cards anymore because people that are given something tend not to look after it as much as if they've earned it themselves.
So adding value to other people's lives seems to add value to your life. How does that work?
I was taught very early on in business, if you want to be successful, that you do what you're the most passionate about. You aim to add massive value to people's lives. And that's different for everybody. So I'll give you an example, and you do this the same as I do. If somebody's really miserable or they're having a bad day and you can get them to smile, because you've told them a joke or you've made a funny line, or you do it all the time. You say funny things all the time and people just laugh. And when you laugh, you're literally pumping happy drugs through your brain. Literally, that's a chemical reaction that's going on in your brain. So if people are having a crappy day and you can make them smile, then you've added massive value to their life. And of course that makes you feel good too. It's awesome.
So when you and your husband, Kerry, sat down and started planning your first business, did either of you say to each other, I don't know if we can actually possibly run a business based on the emotional principle of happiness? Or did you just say, oh, bugger it, we'll give it a crack?
No, it was the reverse of that. Find what you're the most passionate about. Find about what's going to make you happy and then turn that into your career. And then every process or every step after that's a no-brainer because you're just doing all the things that you're really excited about. So I've always been passionate about fitness. I've always been passionate about being healthy, fit and strong. So, of course, then the natural progression for that is I want that to be my career path. I'd like you to imagine my father's face. He sent me to a private boarding school to become a lawyer. And I say, no, Dad, I'm going to be an exercise instructor. I'm going to teach people how to exercise and be healthy, fit and strong. He was pretty cranky about that. But when you're doing what you're happy about, and my father said the same thing to me when he said to me, wow, you have got a real job. You are doing what you're passionate about. You're doing what you love. And ultimately, if you look at all the miserable people in the world, possibly they're miserable because they're doing some lousy, stinking, rotten job that they don't like. And that's why they are grumpy, possibly.
So you work in the fitness industry.
I like to call it the fitness profession.
The fitness profession?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you work in the fitness profession.
And I say that because as a professional person, you would arrive on time, you would dress well, you'd have in-depth knowledge, you'd be highly educated. And that's what I'm aiming to do for my profession, obviously, because I think that that would be very important. We have the answer to coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, depression, all the big challenges medically with the world. If you're healthy, fit and strong, even if you can't prevent them, you can certainly handle them better. However, we don't get taken seriously as a profession, so I'm aiming for that to happen. That would make me very happy.
Do you find it ironic that in the fitness profession, where all these people are building health and fitness and making themselves happy and pumping happy drugs through them, there's so many grumpy people when you go to a gym?
Oh, Barnaby, and isn't that the truth? And here we sit in a building designed to help people deal with cancer more effectively. Would that be fair?
I would think so.
Yeah, people have real challenges in their life. And there are so many people in the world, particularly in the fitness industry at the gym, who they're grumpy because they've got 2% higher body fat than they want to have, or they weigh a kilogram heavier than they want to, or they're feeling a bit fluffy today, or the things that you and I, it's like, I just want to be healthy and I want to be able to live my life in a positive way. And yeah, I get a little bit sad for the people who everything is focused on their body and how little body fat percentage they have versus how much value can I add to the world.
So on the other side of that, there's a lot of people that do add value to the world and are happy.
Yeah.
What is it about those people that draw other people to them?
The reason I love hanging out with you. Doesn't matter. Yeah, but you've had some stuff going in your life. But you're always a happy guy, you've always got a joke, you're always really nice to people, you've got good manners, you're really respectful. I think those people like to hang out with the same kind. I find it very disappointing when people are rude. I find it disappointing when people are angry for whatever. Oh, how about this? Sydney, oh, it's the traffic. Yeah, well, you'd be a bit surprised if there was no traffic, wouldn't you? You'd go, what's going on in Sydney? There's no cars on the road. But yet people get angry about the traffic. They get angry about the weather. They get angry about stuff they've got no control over, versus I could choose today to be a happy person. And if I'm happy, then maybe I can affect the environment around me. So I can stick a smile on my dial and hope that a few other people stick a smile on their dial as well. So
does getting fit mean you have to sacrifice living an enjoyable life?
Oh, that's a good question. Absolutely no. And there's probably people who will argue that with me. But my big reason for, and this is just my very personal story, I was an overweight kid. I had pimples on my face and buck teeth. And I started exercising, and it didn't physically change me immediately, but it certainly changed the way I felt. All of a sudden I felt like this happy, positive, I'm an amazing human being who can do anything. So when you've got these happy drugs pumping through your brain because you are healthy, fit and strong, can you take on the world and win? And of course the answer is yes. So do I want that for everybody else? Absolutely. So is it possible to be the people that are unhappy that are exercising, the reason is probably they're exercising for the wrong reasons. If you're exercising because you want to have the perfect body, or you have to lose weight, or you have to burn calories, or you have to fit into your clothes, or I have to eat healthy food because I have to, versus I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, I want to be strong, I want to have a life that's amazing, then your exercise program has a different perspective and it's a lot more fun. And that's obviously what I'm aiming to do for all fitness professionals. If we can help our world be or exercise for the right reasons rather than I've got to have a certain body fat percentage, that'd be great.
So I sometimes think you're so incredibly happy because you're married to such a great guy. Tell me a bit about your husband and what makes him so great.
Well, this could take forever. There'll be no time for you now. My father did share with me as advice from a very cool man. He said, there should always be a non-negotiable standards list for who you put into your life. So don't accept disrespectful people. You only accept people into your life who are respectful of you. And then he said, and choose the kind of person that you want to have in your life. But my father had two very distinct requests. He said, you need to have somebody who's really intelligent and really funny. And I'm very privileged because I'm married to a man who's incredibly funny and he's incredibly intelligent, but intelligent for the right reason, which is he can take something really complicated and make it really easy to understand. So my understanding of anatomy and physiology, for example, has become more in depth because he's a health scientist, he's an exercise scientist, a published research scientist, but everything that he teaches is how to make it simple and easy for everybody to understand. So he's a genius as well. So yes, can I be extra happy because I've got him in my life? Yes. But I ask you this question as well. You've had challenges and obviously you've lost somebody really special in your life. People say to me, you'd be really upset, Rowie, or you wouldn't be so happy, for example, if you didn't have K-Man in your life. And I give this advice to everybody. The people that you have in your life should add value to your life, not be your life. The people that are relying on happiness to be provided by other people, I'm really happy because I've got a great husband, I'm happy because I've got great kids, I'm happy because I've got a great job, I'm happy because I've got low body fat percentage. Those people have real challenges if they get fat or if they lose their partner or something happens. But truly happy people are happy from the inside and everything else is just a bonus. And you're the living example of that. You've had some real crappy stuff happen to you, but you still remain a happy, positive person. And that's why I have so much respect for you and that's why I'm here.
I'll stop it. Tell me about happiness in business. I get the feeling a lot of people think you can be a loyal, productive employee, or you can be happy. Can you be both?
I suggest this to all of my students. Don't go work somewhere that doesn't fit in with your core values. Don't work in a business that doesn't make you feel like you're in exactly the right place. And if you need to have a business to do that, then why not create your own? If you're sitting in a business saying, oh, if this was my business, I'd do it differently, then suggestion is go and start your own business that's something that you're really passionate about. And I'll share that again because I think this is the fundamental philosophy of business. Do what you're passionate about, become the best in the world at it, and add massive value. And if you are working somewhere where you can't be the best person that you can be, if you're working somewhere where the standards are lower than you expect of yourself, if you're not doing the training, the education, everything you need to do to become the best that you can be, then you just feel a bit average. And people say to me, Rowie, what's your least favourite word? And for me, it's average. I'd rather be the worst, because people that are in the worst situation possible usually pick themselves up and make something of themselves. If you choose to be average, for example, you're choosing automatically not to be the best, because you can't be average and the best. So if you're in a job where you're just doing something average to pay your lousy, stinking, rotten bills, your life's going to be pretty ordinary. So find the, I don't care what it is, be the best bus driver you can be the best landscape gardener you can be the best painter you can be the best anything, but don't choose average. Choose what you're passionate about, and then you can be happy and do what you love at the same time. Wow, there's a concept.
So there's so much negativity in the world today, so much depression and anxiety.
If you look for it, yeah.
If you look for it. How can people make themselves, flick the switch and make themselves happy when there's so much negativity around?
That's just a choice. You know, you read the newspaper, you can find all the yucky stuff in the newspaper, or you can look for the joke column, and you can look for the sporting achievements. You can say that today's a beautiful day in Sydney, but if it's pouring rain in Sydney, for example, it'd be a fantastic day if it was pouring rain. It doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing. The stuff that you have no control over, then just accept it and love it. And if you do have control over it, then change it. But certainly don't whine about it.
Is it difficult being happy?
If you make it. People say that about losing weight. Is it hard to lose weight? No, eat less, move more. It's a decision. And we get to decide everything we've ever eaten, every exercise we've ever done or not done, every person we've ever put into our life, tindered in or out of our life, doesn't matter. Everything about our life is a choice. So people say, Rowie, how can you be so happy all the time? I exercise every day and pump happy drugs through my brain. I never listen to negative, horrible music. I always listen to positive, happy songs. I surround myself with positive, happy people. I don't read the newspaper or watch the news because it's negative stuff. I get to choose that. Everyone else gets to choose that as well. It's easy to be happy. You just choose to be and then continue on your way.
Well, Rowie McEvoy, I said in the introduction, you make people's lives better just for being in it. You're in mine and I'm happier because of it.
Bold, brilliant Barnaby, I'm very happy to be in yours.
Thank you, Rowie.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Now we're going to do the Everyday Greatness Shuffle.
You!
So to add value to the world, you don't need to start a foundation or a charity, compete at the Olympics or the Paralympics, or go on to lead a nation. Those tiny things you're doing in your life that you think nobody's taking any notice of can be adding value to people's lives without you even knowing it. If that statement were a bowl of porridge, Kylene Anderson would be the oats. Kylene is a bodybuilder, a model, an actress. She's featured on television and radio shows, and she's a stand-up comedian. Kylene is also one of the most modest and humble people you're ever likely to meet. You'd be doing well to pick her apart from any other person on the street. And if you bear with me, one of the worst parts about having a stroke is that your memory becomes like Dory from Finding Nemo. So you lose what the hell you're talking about, which has just happened to me. Kylene is a salt-of-the-earth human being. And it's Kylene's personality and her humility that are the milk and the oats in this bowl of porridge. Her incredible story is just sugar on top. And who better to tell us that story than Kylene Anderson? Kylene, thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before I start, I believe you have something you want to say as well.
I do. I just wanted to send a little shout out to the upcoming drive for Edwina on the 25th. I believe it's Davo's Bloody Donors. I hope they suck up gallons of blood for you out at the Red Cross in Chatswood.
Good luck, Edness. So, your story is incredible. Tell me how you came to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It was actually being at the right time, right place. So it was certainly just off the cuff. We were down visiting in Melbourne at the Arnold Classic, and we were walking around the Fitness Expo, which was a lot of fun. And we just happened to find this little secret door just by walking around the convention centre, would you believe it? And we saw a security guard standing by the elevator, and he could see that we were lost, and he said, "Are you ladies looking for the upstairs room?" And we looked at each other and were like, "Yes, we are looking for the upstairs room." We went up to the upstairs room in the elevator, and there was a lineup of people there waiting to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's how we got there. It was by chance. It was my friend Tash and I, and we made it up into that room. That's how it happened. And we were there. We made it in for a photo opportunity with him. We got just a couple of seconds with him, but it was like a lifelong dream to meet him. I've been a massive fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the fact that we were there for the Arnold Classic, his first Arnold Classic in Melbourne, was great. And yeah, we got to meet him, got a photo. So I've got proof. He's not a cardboard cutout. He is real.
Outstanding. So the Arnold Classic is an international bodybuilding competition.
Yes, it is.
Tell me how it came. Tell me about the conversation you had with your mate Tash.
Yeah, certainly. We had met at the same workplace, and what happened was we started talking, and she asked me, "What do you do for fun and fitness?" And I said, "Well, I'm just sort of breaking into doing my first bodybuilding competition. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I've just met a trainer, and we're going to work towards that goal." And I asked her the same question, "What do you do for fun and fitness?" She said, "I'm actually getting ready for the Tough Mudder," which I've never done myself, but she was getting ready for that. And I said, "Well, after you finish Tough Mudder, let's have a go. Let's have a crack at trying to get up on stage and doing a bodybuilding competition, and let's make our way to the Arnolds." So she said, "Sure, why not?" She did her Tough Mudder. She jumped on board. We had the same coach. It was an amazing journey, and to have someone right beside you to do it with. And we did all the complaining together. We did all the training together. We had the laughs together. Everything. It bonded our friendship. And that was just the icing on the cake, actually. So it was great. We went through it together, and one of the best journeys I've ever been through.
So at an international bodybuilding competition, is there any friendly chit chat going on behind backstage, or is it all intense death stares and?
Yeah, you do get to meet people, but in all honesty, people are so tired. They've worked their butts off for months and months and months to get to this end point. People are actually really tired, but you are out the back and people are scoffing down donuts and lollies and as much sugar they can get in, bit of water as well. The carbohydrates are going in just before they go in on stage. So you get this rush and everybody's talking and happy, but then the sugar drops and then everyone's sort of tired and just resting until the next time they go on stage. So it's a different vibe. It changes throughout the whole day, but most people are friendly and they're interested in your journey and where you came from, because the judges don't see that and they don't judge you on your journey and how you got there. All they're looking at is what you look like and how well you look, and it's just from the nice part of it is meeting the people and the different journeys. I've lost 100 kilos, or, last year I was in bed, on my deathbed, and now I'm here doing a bodybuilding competition. There's so many different stories, and that's certainly rewarding, hearing when people actually get to the end.
So the deathbed story going on to an international bodybuilding competition sounds like an incredible story. Your father was at the competition in Melbourne.
Yes.
How special was that for you?
Yeah, he actually came down, and it was very special. My dad has always been a tough man, and he is well and truly into his fitness. So I guess he instilled that into me and my brother. We were never as fit as him. He was like fanatical. He loved it. It was his lifestyle choice. He was great at it. And so to see his daughter get up and actually be the fittest that she can possibly be and looking great, he was incredibly proud. It was a very special moment. And I look back on that moment quite fondly. He still couldn't get quite the words out that he was proud of me, but I think the tears running down his face certainly said that. So that was something I've never seen from him before. So it was amazing, and that was certainly a turning point in my life. So yeah, it was great.
So you got back from your bodybuilding competition and decided to do something new and gave stand-up comedy a crack.
Absolutely.
What led you to that?
Well, it's always about pushing the limits, right? So getting out of your comfort zone. I certainly went through that journey for 2 years going through the bodybuilding, and I thought, well, what's next? And just as Rowena was saying earlier, you know, what are you passionate about? And whilst getting up for a bodybuilding competition, that was merely just for me. That was just for me, something I wanted to do for me. Nobody else was there with me. You know, it's all your discipline and your determination to do that. When you get up and do stand-up comedy and you do a 5-minute set, just starting out on a 5-minute set, it is to make people laugh in the crowd. That is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever come across. Making people laugh, making people smile, and having the ability to do that it's one of the best gifts, you know, in life. So I love it, and that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I like. As I said, bodybuilding was just for me, but comedy is for other people, and I love that.
So tell me about the nerves backstage before a bodybuilding competition compared to stand-up comedy. Which is worse? Which is more intense?
Definitely the comedy. Yeah, definitely the comedy. With the bodybuilding, you're up on stage with a group of women, so you're all standing beside each other. It's quite a competition. Yes, people are judging you, and the judges are there to judge you. And it's certainly nerve-wracking. There was nerves there. Then you get up and do your single routine, and that's quite nerve-wracking. But again, I'm like, yep, I'm in this boat with everybody else. So there was a bit of comfort there. Getting up for stand-up comedy when you're just yourself, it's so incredibly raw being out there. You are yourself, and to be honest, before I got on stage, I couldn't even feel my legs. I was so nervous. I thought, wow, I have nobody else to lean on. I can't hide behind anybody else. I'm just here. But I was confident. I was confident in my material. I was confident in what I was saying. I thought it was quite a good set. So not to be too modest, but you know, it went quite well. And I thought when I got my first giggle in my very first set, it was amazing. It was a great feeling. I thought, yeah, I love this. Making people laugh, it was great. But the nerves, you settle in after the first minute on a 5-minute set, and once you settle in, it's amazing being up there.
So they're pretty intense competitions, stand-up comedy and international bodybuilding. If at points where you've doubted whether you should be there and whether you're going to be good enough, what did you do to overcome those doubts?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had plenty of those moments. Like, what am I doing? I'm not good enough. But then I just stopped myself and I thought, you know what? I've worked hard to get here. I deserve to be up there. I'm going to give it a crack. And you know what? It's for me. When it comes to the comedy, same sort of thing. You know, I've worked hard. You know, I'm writing, I'm practicing, I'm, you know, trying material out, you know, before big competitions. And I'm like, you know what? I deserve to be here. I'm just going to give it a crack. And yeah, I mean, you do think about the judgment from others, but you think, you know what, I'm really enjoying myself here. I do enjoy it. So yeah, that takes over everything. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, Kylene Anderson, I think you're an unbelievable human being, and that sugar on top is beautiful, but your personality and humility is astounding. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Barnaby.
Now we'll do the Everyday Greatness Shuffle and welcome Hayley Hornitzky. If you were 3 years of age and somebody came and plonked a bowl of cereal a bowl of porridge in front of you that had been prepared for a 25-year-old professional athlete, you'd probably underestimate your chances of getting through it. But as much as a penny could drop in the mind of a 3-year-old, eventually you'd realise that that 25-year-old athlete was once exactly where you were, and all they did was pick up the spoon, scoop on some porridge and shove it in their mouth. And they just did that over and over again until they ended up where they are today. My next guest, Hayley Hornitzky, is like that 3-year-old child. She's underestimating the value she's adding to the world. But Hayley Hornitzky works at the New South Wales Cancer Council and organises some of their major fundraisers for the year. She's volunteered at the World Wildlife Fund and the Australian Youth Orchestra, and she's adding incredible value to the world just by being the human being she is. And she joins us now. Hayley, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before I start, I believe you have something you want to say.
Yes, so I would like to say congratulations to Maddie Hard for getting your P's. It's a huge achievement, so congrats on that.
Good work, Maddie. So, do you feel like you're adding value to the world at the moment?
Yes. When you first asked me, when I thought about this question, at first I thought no, but I do feel like I am in my own way, in my own unique way. And I think the main thing that I do is I talk to a lot of people in different communities, and I have really good conversations with them. And a lot of the time I end up getting a lot more out of the conversation probably. I'm not sure, but I meet wonderful people, and I'm hoping them meeting me is hopefully beneficial to them in some way. But yeah, big way is just having a conversation with someone any day, no matter what, having a chat with the train driver or the bus driver and just saying hello. So that's my own very unique way.
So I think your story is pretty incredible. Tell me about how your parents met.
So my parents met, my mum's from Hong Kong and my dad was born in Australia, but they came over they met in Australia, and they both actually worked at an arcade basically. They both worked there. My dad was the supervisor and my mum was one of the workers. And at first my mum hated my dad apparently. She thought he was a terrible supervisor. But yeah, and then they started, I'm not sure what changed exactly to make her start liking him, but they started dating. And he used to take her around Sydney and go on trips and go for nice dinners around Sydney. Yeah, and then we came along, I guess. But yeah, it's just, Dad loved arcade machines. He loved the arcade. He still does. Yeah, and it's still a big passion of his, but it's nice to see they met somewhere that he was really passionate about, and yeah.
Beautiful. So what were your plans for life after you left high school?
I didn't have exactly a plan. I was really unsure what to do at first, but I think the natural thing that I thought of was to study, go to uni, and then find a job. So I did go to uni and find a job, but I think throughout it I had a lot of doubts about what should I be doing. Should I be taking a gap year? Should I be doing this? And a lot of it was should. What should I be doing? And I think it's really hard at that age to decide on your life. What should I study and become? Should I, be an engineer and decide that at 18? So I did, yeah, I went to uni, studied, got experience, and I'm really appreciative of that and that we have the opportunity to be educated. But yeah, I think I've started to move away from the should and what I want in a way. So
everything you've done in your world, in the workforce, has been about adding value to other people's lives. Cancer Council, World Wildlife Fund, Australian Youth Orchestra. How does it make you feel that you've gravitated towards things that put back to society and make other people happier?
It feels great actually, now that you say it like that. I think there's sometimes I don't step back to realise what I do, and that there is a larger impact that I'm having, but I have the work you put in, you get so much out of it though. Like, I love what I do at Cancer Council. I love the communities you work with, the people that you work with, I don't know, there's all these things I've learned because of it. I don't know, it's the people around that add so much value to your life too as well, and it helps you grow, and you surround yourself with intelligent people and not just intellectually but emotionally intelligent people, and just, I don't know, it's added so much value to my life, those people. I'm so thankful for that.
So out of all the people in your life right now, or people that are just in the world that you don't know, who do you think is the person that's adding the most value and why?
To my life?
To your life?
I don't have one person, I have to say. I think the people I have in my team at the moment have add a lot of value to my life, with positivity. They're really positive, and they've been through life experiences, so they're not my age, and they have a different perspective to me. I think that adds a lot of value to my life. But yeah, there's no one person that I look up to. I think there's people around me that I actually really look up to, and I find certain qualities really attractive. And when I just hear about people who have overcome things, or who are doing things that they quit their job and they decided to do what they're passionate about, I admire that so much. Like, yeah, I just really admire that. So, and I want to be that person too. I want to, continue to learn and grow and face challenges and then overcome them and just be an awesome person, hopefully.
So what does a successful life look like to you?
I think one where you continually learn, not just, academically, but you just continue to learn and evolve, and you want to continually learn. I think a successful life is you allow yourself to feel the way you're feeling. So if you're feeling sad, you allow yourself that space to feel it. And if you're feeling happy, share it. Go talk to people, because it's infectious. I met Rowie today. She's freaking awesome. She's so happy. But the thing is, it is infectious. So just allow yourself to be who you are, or how you feel. Allow yourself to feel that way. Yeah, and I think a big thing I've learned is to challenge yourself, not just do, sit in your comfort zone. You need to challenge yourself, because that's when a lot of the good things happen to you, is when you're outside of it.
So as a young lady, what makes you the happiest these days?
Good question. I think lately a few things like being around nature has helped me a lot, and exercising has helped me a lot. But the other thing is talking to people, talking to new people as well. So checking with the people that you love, and that, but also just when you meet new people, you find out about their story. And I don't know, I always feel really good after I talk to someone new. Just talk to people.
So do you find the prospect of adding value to the world a difficult concept?
No, I don't think it's difficult. I find it, I can't see when I add value, but I see when a lot of people add value. It's simple, and it is having a conversation with someone, and it could make all the difference to that person, or can make them realise something, or it's not difficult. I think I find it difficult for myself, but everyone else, it's not that difficult at all.
All right, I'm going to give you open floor.
Oh God!
Just pretend you're the wise, gracious lady, and give advice to any young kids out there about how they can add value and make themselves happy. Fire away, all yours.
Stay true to who you are, and really, I really recommend you challenge yourself, because it's something that I'm trying to do right now, and it has helped me learn so much and meet amazing people, because I've just put yourself outside your comfort zone. So, and just enjoy life, just have a good time, put a smile on your face, smile at the bus driver, I don't know, whatever it is, just, yeah.
Well, Hayley Hornitzky, I think you are adding value to the world, and I appreciate you being here. I think it was sensational. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Barnaby.
Now we're going to do the Everyday Greatness Shuffle, and I'll ask you to come over, Gail.
Hi,
thank you, welcome. So somebody who's adding incredible value to the world by suffering heartbreaking adversity and going on to give back in jaw-droppingly huge ways is Gail O'Brien. Gail is a board member at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse. She's also the widow of the late Professor Chris O'Brien and the mother of the late Adam O'Brien. but she's not letting her adversity hold her back. Gail's adversity you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. But Lifehouse prides itself on being patient-focused, and as if to prove that point, Gail is also the patient advocate at Lifehouse. And it's not uncommon to hear stories from patients, former patients or their families about how Gail just popped out in their room one day just to say g'day. Gail is giving back to the world in some ginormous ways. She has a razor-sharp business mind, a loving heart the size of Farlap, and she's passionate about adding value to other people's lives. Gail is old school happy and pleasant. Gail has always got a smile on her face. She loves a chat, and she's at her happiest when she's trying to make other people happy. And Gail joins me now, and I'm very privileged. Gail O'Brien, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Barnaby, for that introduction.
So you've been on both sides of a fairly intense hospital room with a cancer patient inside. Why do you find it so important that people just drop in to say g'day whenever they can?
I think it's really difficult for people to be with people who are going through really terrible stuff. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. And so I think it's very important for me in particular. I think it's very healing for the people who've been through things to offer help to people who are going through adversity. But I think it's also amazing for people who are going through that to know that people really understand and care.
People who know your story think you have some reserve of resilience that you got from some mystical tropical forest. Do you feel like you have special powers that other people don't?
No, I do not think I had special powers. I do believe in a greater design that we're all part of. And if you believe in that and trust in that, I think you can tap into it, and I think it gives you special powers.
You're an incredibly nice person. Did that just magically happen one day? You woke up and you were nice, or did you build this from when you were a young girl? What are the things you did to make you nice?
Look, what is nice, honestly?
Well, you for one.
I can, but does nice mean that you aren't determined and aren't strong and so forth? You don't have to be nasty to be strong. And anyway, you talk about having a smile on your face. I think I've got a genetic predisposition to smiling. As I think, look, you're always smiling, and look what you've been through. So, I often sort of, I was thrown into the public speaking arena, a bit like you, Barnaby, although I don't know if you were thrown into it or that's your course anyway. And I do sort of look at philosophy and Jung and, whether we've all got a blueprint in terms of resilience or not. And, it's all about whether you're knocked down and stay down, or knocked down and bounce up again.
So your niceness must have been tested fairly severely when you lost your husband and your son. What did you do in terms of mechanisms to get you through that? What did you do to just keep staying happy and nice and adding value to people's world?
Look, I'm sure there are a lot of people you'd speak to that don't think I'm very nice, Barnaby. But I must say, when my son died, when Adam died, that whole sense of a greater design was what kept me afloat. And you don't stop being your normal personality just because you take a knock. So it wasn't a case of not being nice, as you say, just because what happened to me and happens to people every single day, why wouldn't it happen to me? Admittedly, yes, it was pretty tough having, things happen back to back, but that sense of there being a greater reason to it was what made me sort of go, okay, I can't just fold in the face of this, and I have to trust.
So your irrepressible niceness and your ability to cope with the tragedy you've coped with, did that just come to you magically one day, or was that the accumulation of all the small actions you've taken in your life all the way through?
Well, I do believe that we've all got a map, and that it's just a matter of the dots joining, because now when I look back in my life and all the dramas that have taken place throughout my life, I just believe it's an accumulation of resilience, and you look back and you think, oh, okay, that was building, there was some drama a bit bigger than that, and then another bigger one, and then the biggest one ever. So I think you build up your resilience through that, and underneath, if you're a nice person underneath, I don't think that sort of diminishes really.
So you won an Order of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Describe in your words what you did to get that award.
Well, number one, I think it takes incredible selflessness of the person who nominated me and incredible selflessness of the people who then were asked to provide references and so forth, because there's a bit of a job doing that. I've done it myself. Yeah, I'm just very grateful. I've forgotten what your question is now.
What did you do in order to receive the Order of Australia?
Oh,
in your eyes,
did I do?
what makes you worthy of receiving that award?
I think I surround myself with the right people who might write a nice reference.
Very modest. You make a lot of other people happy, like just poking your head in hospital rooms. People, I've spoken to people who've said, oh, I spoke to Gail O'Brien, and they just put their shoulders back and head up. What makes you happiest, though?
What makes me happiest? I think, in terms of what brings you joy, things around here bring me joy. We're working on a project now to try and improve palliative care in this hospital, because we do have a lot of people who die here. They choose to because they feel like it's home. And we engineering that potential of harnessing foundations and funds and so forth, that makes me excited. That brings me joy, yes.
So let me ask you about that. Lifehouse as a facility has so many sad stories. Yeah. It is made up of sad stories.
Yes.
Why is there such a happy vibe in this place?
I think it's because Chris is here. I think it is a very positive place, despite the fact that, a concentration of cancer means there's a concentration of grief. And after I leave you, I will go up to the wards and see some people who are really going through some really difficult times. But I know in my heart that they will get through it. We all get through it. It is something that concerns me if I wake up in the middle of the night. How is that family coping? But I know that they will get through it.
So how does Lifehouse practically invest in its people to make them so happy and spread happiness around this place?
We do have we do choose people who are aligned with our values. We have a very strong value system, so we have an orientation, and our HR department chooses people based on their value system. And I do think that my presence on the wards does remind people of the vision. They are orientated and inducted to the vision of the place and the heritage. So I do think that my presence does remind them of that. Yeah, maybe.
So do you see the value in your presence on the ward? Like when you said you're going up to say good day to people, do you see your presence, the importance of that visit to that hospital room? Could you explain what makes it important?
Well, it's a very hard job. It's seeing all these people are suffering, but I really love that book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. You know it?
Yeah.
And he actually says in that, and this is not being religious at all, but he actually says that every interaction is an encounter with God. So even no matter how difficult that interaction is with that patient, I look at it as an encounter with God.
Right. Are you a practicing religious person, Gail? Do you go to church? And
I do. I'm part of a Catholic community, but I came to Catholicism only 20 years ago. I thought at the time I was, but I don't want to cloud anything we're saying with religious doctrine or anything like that. I'm not about that. It's about spirituality. And, I think religion can cloud all of that. So, yeah, I'm part of that community, and it's a very giving and supportive community.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked a couple of the girls. Is happiness a difficult thing to achieve? Being nice and happy and gracious as you are, is that difficult, or is it just the accumulation of lots of small things over a lifetime?
Yeah, I think it isn't. I think a happy childhood has a lot to do with it, and very grounded parents, and not being cosseted, but certainly loved, and I think that gives you a very strong foundation and strong roots, no matter what happens in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So let me open up the floor to you. What would you say? People, I don't know if you know this, but people look at you and think, oh my God, she's amazing. She's got so much resilience and power and she's incredible. What would you say to those people who are going through a difficult time in how to get through it?
Look, I can't say one specific thing to one person because it's sort of different for all. And, every conversation I have with somebody it goes down a different path, but ultimately comes back to the same thing. I'm thinking about it even as I'm talking to you, and that is just to trust in life, and that's all you have to do. Not try and resist it, just trust in life.
So how much happiness do you get from being a mother to your children these days, and a grandmother to your grandchildren?
I don't have grandchildren yet. Yesterday I wasn't a very good mother at all because my son was supposed to be on a plane to China and to teach for the next 2 years, and then his visa got rejected at the last minute, and I absolutely, by his own sort of stupidity, I think. So I was very firm about what I thought, what he did. There are consequences to suffer, and so he didn't like at first my firmness, but then he turns around and just feels, he sees that I'm speaking the truth. My children do know I speak the truth. That's all.
Fair enough. So a lot of people look up to you as a symbol of someone who's got everything under control and got the power to get through things. Who do you look up to when you get down? Who do you say, oh, I should do what that person did?
Who do I look up to? Someone I really admire is the CEO of this organisation. She's an amazing person, Eileen Hannigan. And I really admire my parents. They have been through incredible adversity. They're very pioneering people. They are. They moved here from Ireland with 4 small children in their early 30s, and very wise, very humble, very intelligent people.
Right. Now, Gail, I'm hoping you can help me send a message to my cousin's children. I was going to give you a card, but when things got thrown out of whack, I haven't been able to give it to you. Can you please look into that camera and say, Cooper and Tara, I hope you spoil your dad for his 40th birthday tomorrow.
Cooper and Tara, I hope you spoil your dad for his 40th birthday tomorrow. Please.
Thank you, Gail. Happy birthday, Shaw, tomorrow. Gail O'Brien, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you so much, Barnaby. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you. And thank you to my other guests, Rowie McEvoy, Hayley Hornitzky and Kylene Anderson. Thank you to our major sponsors, ARA Group, the crew at Look Studios, and thank you for watching today. And I hope you can join us on the first Saturday of next month, where I'll be speaking to 4 people who all have incredible stories to tell about how we all have a story to tell. And they're going to tell us theirs. It's going to be sensational, so I hope you can join us. In the meantime, though, I hope you walk down the street with your head up, your shoulders back, proud of being an everyday Joe bag of donuts. Thank you.
Every day, we get things off the ground, keeping you connected and secure. We keep things running smoothly and know the importance of giving back. We're always looking at the bigger picture. We are ARA, reliable solutions for facilities and infrastructure.